Hey gang, we're going to be smashing and flossing our tricep out. There are a couple ways you can do this. So I got a couple implements, but you'll need a lacrosse ball and you need your tricep. You can use a bench. What's basically going to look like is the smash is you're going to lock that elbow in a fake front rack position and just kind of, I like to press down on my bicep and smash around. This is what the smash looks like, and the floss is when you extend that elbow, move it around, whole bunch of robot arms, whole bunch of karate chops that you can do. Alternatively, you can also do this against a wall. Same basic principle, but you can guide the lacrosse ball a little bit easier. You can put a little bit more internal, external rotation into it, a little bit different. And also you flex it up, ooh, or you can have it out for the smash and then moving around for the smash and floss. So basic anatomy of the tricep is it's this big band of muscle that goes on the opposite side of the biceps. It's called a tricep because there are 3 heads to it, so there's a whole lot to mobilize, especially as you get towards the elbow. There's a lot of junk in there, a lot of tendons sort of connect and insert there, and especially if you don't, triceps are very hard to give a little, or not as common to give a whole lot of love to, but they do almost every pushing motion, that extension of the triceps, and they take up about, in terms of the overall circumference of your arm, your upper limb, it's about 60%. And so your triceps are big, they're bulky, and they do a lot of work for you. So you got to give them a little bit of love. They're sort of like the quads, if you want to think of it that way. They're sort of like the quads of your arms, because they extend the joint in the same way that your quads extend the joint. And think about how often you roll out your quads, but how often do you roll out your triceps? So this is a really good pointed way to smash and floss your triceps. Basic execution is, I like, especially if I'm using a bench, I like to keep that arm in a fake front rack position and just sort of get figuring out where all those knots are going in and out, because as I said, there are 3 heads to it, so you want to move around a whole lot, figure out what's going on, and you'll notice that I'm consistently repositioning the lacrosse ball, especially as you go towards that elbow on the medial side, on the inside. That's sort of like tennis elbow. A lot of junk in there, and just smash it around. Just sort of wake those tissues up, and try not to make a gross face. And then once you're so we're gonna do 4 minutes on each side total. 2 minutes is gonna be smashing. 2 minutes is gonna be flossing around. And with the flossing around, you want to do the karate chops, extend internal, external rotation of the shoulder, so you get that elbow pit up, and you get that elbow pit facing down. And you can do some robot arms, cactus arms, just moving it around as much as you can, putting a lot of movement in there. And what you can do is you can also put your hand on your bicep and press down for some extra spice. And it's basically the same process over here on the wall. You're going to be pressing your bicep, or you can focus it and try to press the elbow in just by smashing that elbow, like elbowing the wall to get that extra pressure. But find out what works for you. I personally like the bench a little bit, but also sometimes you don't have access to a bench. Sometimes you just have a wall and a lacrosse ball, and you just need to mobilize some stuff. But I would highly recommend, for the smash and floss, doing a sweep. You can start sort of in the armpit, right sort of where the lat and the tricep meet, and starting from there, just to sort of do a big broad sweep, sort of figure out where all of those knots are, and then moving your way to the elbow, where things can get pretty spicy. In the same way that things can get pretty spicy if you smash and floss the quad and you get towards that teardrop, things can get gross, and you can easily make a gross face. So internal, external rotation. Just move around, try to keep some good pressure in there. And same thing, you can also grab the bicep and press into the wall. General prescriptions for this, I would definitely do this if you're doing any sort of pushing motion, any barbell work, push press, strict press, push jerk, all that kind of stuff going overhead and where you have to stabilize, handstands, a lot of stuff. You need to give those triceps some love. Push-ups especially if you do them kind of gross too. I would highly recommend doing some smash and floss. Just give them some love, wake them up again. They can get pretty gnarly, pretty tight. And the test and retest is I would do a front rack position, and you'll see my left elbow, this is what I've been smashing this whole video, my left elbow is just a couple inches higher. feels great. You can also do overhead extension, just sort of maybe see how it feels, or you can also see which arm has a little bit more range of motion. You might not get as much more range of motion out of it, but you will probably feel a little bit less junky. My left tricep definitely feels better overhead, and it's usually my more junky side. So enjoy. This is a really good one to do. You don't need a whole lot of equipment. You can use a roller for this, but we'll cover that in a different video. Yeah, smash and floss those triceps. Enjoy, guys.